Today we're taking a look at a very limited Maurice Lacroix that I helped design. Technically, I was part of a committee that designed this watch for the 250th anniversary of the United States. This is a limited edition of only 250 pieces. It's based on the icon and it gets some very special features. Of course, I have one hands-on. So let's flip the camera and take a look at the Lady Liberty from Maurice Lacroix. So when you first see this watch, you're not going to immediately notice the crown on the dial and the inspiration behind it. So this is inspired by Lady Liberty. That's why we have this greenish hue to the dial, to that strap. This comes with two straps. I don't have both straps to show you guys. This is the rubber strap. There is also a gray leather strap that will be coming with this as a package. This is the icon from Maurice Lacroix. This is the Lady Liberty edition. So it's in celebration of the 250th anniversary of the United States. This is a very impressive watch, not only because it's a limited edition and obviously limited to 250 pieces with inspiration behind it being the 250th anniversary. It's an impressive watch because it's very well made. It gets 200 meters of water resistance on an integrated bracelet watch. You don't see that very often. You get a screwed in crown that's very grippy and you get a screwed in case back. This is the icon, so this is their sporty integrated bracelet watch. They also make the iconic, which is also a very sporty integrated bracelet watch. It gets slightly higher end materials, I would say. This is in all stainless steel. They use ceramic and other materials for the dials on the iconic. So the icon is slightly more affordable and you are getting an all stainless steel case. They decided to do this collaboration and they wanted to use part of the community to get the inspiration to make this watch. So in other words, they got a group of people who are in the community, in the watch community, to make this watch. Some of us were influencers, some of us community leaders, and some, I think, just friends of the brand. We came together and this is the design that we came up with. It has a beautiful textured dial that you would expect from the icon, except you are getting indices that are essentially all one piece, or at least for the top half of the dial. The bottom half has applied indices, the top half has that crown. You can see that when you look closely. It's not incredibly obvious, and I kind of like that. And when the watch is loomed, it is very obvious that that is Lady Liberty's crown. Also, there's another little nod on the dial. The date wheel down at the 6 o'clock position, the number 4 for July 4th is in red. Everything else is in white, and it's a color matched date window, so it matches that beautiful bluish green dial. Something interesting that was done here is the hands. The hands are in a gold tone, so the hour, minute, and seconds hand are in a gold tone. So is the logo. So those items on the dial are in a gold tone. Everything else, all of the other applied indices, are in a silver tone. It kind of makes sense. You wouldn't think it would. It does work though. And everything here, I think the combination of hands and the indices and the dial color work very well together. You have their typical rubber strap. You have their M logo, which is in metal, that is embedded into the strap. You have a screwed in crown like I was mentioning before. Again, that is a signed screwed in crown. And then you have a display case back. You have a screwed in case back with a Sellita SW200 that is heavily customized. You have a skeletonized rotor that is signed with the brand's name. You have 13 stars on the case back on that sapphire crystal to represent the 13 colonies. You get quick release, and it says 200 meters on right there on the case back, right there. I think they should probably put that bigger for this watch, because that is something that is really interesting, that they would actually make the effort. Most watches in this genre are 100 meters of water resistance, sometimes 120 or 150, but not 200 meters of water resistance. So I really do think that's impressive, and I'm happy that this gets that much water resistance. In my opinion, they could have went with 100 and it wouldn't have made a difference to a lot of people. And then The buckle, the strap is obviously a rubber strap. They're making a leather strap for this as well. You get both, but the buckle is a very chunky milled buckle, and it's signed Maurice Lacroix. This watch measures in at around 40.4 millimeters at the bezel, because the bezel is smaller than the case. The case is around 41.7 millimeters according to my calipers. I would say it wears somewhere in the middle at around 41 millimeters. That's what I would say this wears like, although it measures in almost at 42 millimeters. It's thin, 10.6 millimeters according to my crown. That's including the sapphire crystal on the front and back. So that is a pretty thin watch considering the 200 meters of water resistance. Lug to lug here is a little bit deceiving. So the lug to lug is around 45 millimeters if you measure it at the case, but it definitely does not wear like a 45 millimeter because you do have male end links on this strap, and it does not fold down very much. So you'll see that it does not fold down, and that means of course it wears larger. So I would say it wears like a 50 millimeter lug to lug, maybe even a little bit larger. That doesn't make a difference on my 7.5-inch wrist. Let me show it to you on my wrist. On my wrist today, I just got back from an event with Omega, so I have my Omega Seamaster 1957 limited edition, a watch that I do not wear very often, but I probably should wear more often. It's a good looking watch and my wife loves it. And there is the icon, Lady Liberty 250th anniversary limited edition of 250 watches on my 7.5-inch wrist. Like I was saying before, this wears like a 41 millimeter. It measures in at 41.7 at the case and around 40 millimeters at the bezel. You have a 10.7 millimeter thickness, 200 meters of water resistance, and then the lug to lug, as you can see on my wrist, makes no difference whatsoever, but the lug to lug is probably in the range of around 50 millimeters, depending on how you measure it on that strap, but on the case itself, it's around 45 and change. Well, there you go. Lume is excellent on this watch. Obviously, you have that crown that is loomed. The hands are lume, the hour and minutes. No lume on the second hand. However, you can see that your watch is working in the dark. It may not be that easy to see on camera, but you can see the second hand crossing around that crown. So you could see it. It's just a little bit, but you could see it crossing over that loomed path. So you can see that your watch is working in the dark. I like that, but it would have been better if the second hand was loom. I don't know why I didn't raise my hand and say, hey, we have to loom the second hand. Otherwise, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna have to mention it. So that's my fault. That's the first time I could ever say that here. It's my fault that that second hand is not loomed. Other than that, I think this is a really good design, obviously, because I took part in the design and, we voted on stuff and this is what we came to. I think it's really cool. I think it's really well priced considering the amount of watch that you are getting from Maurice Lacroix. They always offer a lot of watch for the money. This is $3,300. And again, it's a limited edition of only 250 watches. That is not a lot of watches for Maurice Lacroix because they make a lot of watches. Obviously, this is a pretty limited number of watches for them. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. Maurice Lacroix make a very high quality watch. The finishing here is really nice. The straps are nice. I haven't seen the leather strap yet, but I've seen a very similar strap and they are beautiful. Even the strap on here, the rubber strap, is really nicely made. Lots of textures, and it just feels really high quality in hand. And obviously this is a Swiss-made watch, and they wanted to celebrate the United States, and I appreciate that. Tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below. I will add a link to this watch down in the description. Definitely check it out if you are interested. It's a really cool watch, in my opinion. Definitely check out their website. Definitely check out this watch. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thanks for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.